and a big welcome back to the Wee Lardo channel. Today I'm going to be making a delicious Scottish dish for Burns night. We absolutely love haggis in this house. It's something that we enjoy quite often, but we really love to make these haggis balls for Burns night. I thought I'd share that recipe with you. I'm going to be serving them up with another traditional Scottish dish called Clapshot, and it actually originates from Orkney. It's basically just neeps and tatties mashed together, and I actually add a little bit of onion in my recipe and cream and butter as well, and they are so good. They work really well with the haggis balls. So you can actually also make this recipe into tiny little marbles as well, and you can cook them either in the oven or the frying pan. I do find that if you're making the large haggis balls, they work really well in the oven because they tend to stick in the frying pan. But if you're making the small marble size haggis balls, they actually work well if you're frying them up in a cast iron frying pan with a little bit of butter. And they are really nice to have with a little cocktail stick in them, and they just work so well. So you might have noticed I'm wearing a super cozy scarf today. My heating has actually packed in the house, so I thought I'd put on this extra Scottish looking scarf for you all. I actually got this when I was up in Inverness, and it's so pretty. I absolutely love the colours in it, and it was just in one of those tourist gift shops, and I bought it when I was up there visiting the West Coast in the summer, and I absolutely love it. It's so cozy, and it's the perfect fireside blanket to put over yourself. So anyway, back to the recipe. As I say, you can bake these in the oven or you can fry them in the frying pan. They are super delicious baked in the oven, and I find they're a little bit healthier that way as well. And the Clapshot, you can also put some chopped chives into your Clapshot as well. I actually like to add a little bit of parsley in at the end. I didn't have chopped chives for making this recipe, so I do apologise, but I did add in a little bit of onion. So I hope you enjoy this recipe. Let's get started on our traditional Scottish Clapshot and haggis balls. So for this Scottish haggis balls recipe, you're going to need 900 grams of pre-made haggis, which is approximately 2 packs of haggis, 3 eggs, half of a large turnip, and now this turnip was pretty large that I was using, so you want something quite big, 4 large potatoes, 4 tablespoons of butter, 1 to 2 tablespoons of double cream, half an onion, chives or parsley, kale, and salt and pepper. And this recipe serves about 5 to 6 people, so if you're making for like half that, you're going to want to half the recipe. So this is about the pack size of the haggis that I am using, just to give you an idea. And it's obviously not encased in the traditional skin that you would get from the butcher. So I'm just going to start by salting my simmering water, and I'm going to add in our neeps and tatties, and we're going to leave those to cook in the background. So I'm pouring all of my tatties and all of my neeps into the pan. Those are turnips and potatoes for those that are not sure what neeps and tatties are. And we're just going to add in our chopped onion as well. So I've chopped that pretty fine, and that will just boil away to nothing basically in this pan. So it's just a small amount. You can actually use a small shallot instead if you don't have half an onion available. So we're just going to start by chopping up our haggis in half, and we're going to peel off the case. So these skins are not like the traditional ones that you would get from the butcher. They are just plastic skins. So we're just going to remove that completely, and we're going to crumble all of our haggis into the bowl. So we really want to break this up really well, just to make sure that the egg is mixed through once we add in our eggs. So you want to break up all those large pieces, and we're just going to add in all of our haggis pieces here. Now, some people have asked me for a recipe on how to make haggis. I do have a couple of really old Scottish recipes on how to make haggis, but the problem is the ingredients are not so easily obtained. So it's not something that I personally know anyone making at home. Most people I know would just go into a butcher or a supermarket to buy a haggis. It's not something that we really make in the kitchen. There are some basic haggis recipes that you can make with more easily obtained ingredients like liver. I do have a couple of recipes which I might work on for that, so I might share that with you in the future. So we're just going to add in our eggs. I've added 2 in here, but I did actually go on to add another egg as well. So please feel free to add all 3 of the eggs in at this point. I just felt that it really needed another egg. So I was going to start with 2, but then I went on to add another one. So we're just mixing that through, and we're just going to make sure that it's completely broken up as well and that all the egg is getting into all the right places. And once that is completely mixed, we're going to start making our haggis balls. So I've just taken a small amount and I'm actually rolling them into sort of smaller than a golf ball kind of size. So they are quite small, but I do find that they cook well this way. So we're going for about that kind of size. You can get a good idea in my hand here. We're just going to place those onto the chopping board. Now you can actually cook these in the oven or you can fry them, as I mentioned in the introduction. I'm going to show you both methods. I do prefer to cook them in the oven. I do feel that they cook better and they are a little bit healthier as well. But you can fry them as well if you prefer to do that, and they do soak up the butter when they're cooking as well. So when they're cooked in the cast iron pan, they are super delicious as well. So that's all of our haggis balls ready to go into the oven. And we're just going to check on our neeps and tatties here. So these have been boiling away for about 15 minutes or so. So you want to cook them until they are tender. So I'm just going to drain those. And they are going to get a good mashing together soon. So we're going to put plenty of olive oil onto our baking tray just so that they don't stick. I'm going to pop these on and space them quite well apart as well, just so that they cook evenly. And these are going to go into the oven at 160 for 25 minutes. But please just check on them just to make sure they're not burning and just to make sure that when they are ready. So we're going to melt a good blob of butter into our cast iron pan here. You do want to have a lot of fat in your pan when you're cooking these balls, otherwise they stick very easily. And we're just going to add some haggis balls into our cast iron pan now as well. So these take about the same sort of time actually in the pan. You do have to keep turning them quite frequently as well. And you can see they are sizzling away nicely there. They look so delicious. So you just have to keep checking on them and turning them just so that they don't burn. And if you just try and ensure that you're browning all of the haggis ball, you can also flatten these down so they're more like little patties type shapes, and they do cook a bit easier in the frying pan that way. So in the background here, I'm actually just adding in about 4 large handfuls of kale. It's pretty much almost a whole bag of kale. We absolutely love kale. It's so nutritious and it's such a nice vegetable to cook and have on the side. So that's just going to boil away for about 10 minutes in salty water. So we're going to add a good tablespoon or so of butter into our neeps. And the butter and cream quantities really are just to taste, so feel free to add more or less into yours. And we're going to season that again with some salt and a little bit of pepper as well. And again, you can add more or less salt and pepper to your Clapshot. And you can also add in some chopped chives at this point as well. I didn't actually have any chives to hand, so I have the flavour of the onion coming through, so that's enough flavour for me. So I'm just adding in a good sort of 2 to 3 tablespoons of double cream here. And we're just going to mash that through really well. So we want this quite smooth, so if you just keep mashing for a good few minutes. And I absolutely love neeps and tatties on their own as well, so if you don't want to serve them up like this, you can actually boil them in separate pans and then mash them together on their own and serve it up as a haggis, neeps and tatties meal. So you can kind of get an idea of the consistency here. You can also add a little bit of milk in as well if you want it a bit smoother. And that's about the consistency we're looking for there. So we're going to serve that up onto our plate here with a spoon, and you can serve this up any way you like. I just like to make a little tower, so we've got our Clapshot on the bottom, our neeps and tatties, and I then like to put some kale on the top as well. I like to put little ridges in the Clapshot with the fork, and that just kind of works if for gathering the seasoning and any sauce that you might add on as well. So I'm just popping the kale on top here, so I haven't like overcooked it. It's still got a little bit of bite to it, so you can cook it to how you like it. And we're just going to place our haggis balls on top, and you can actually pour over a nice whiskey sauce or another cream sauce to go with this, and I just like it on its own, but the sauce does work really well with it as well. And it's so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed making your haggis balls. I'd love to see some photos, especially if you made the mini ones as well. I'd like to see your pictures, so please feel free to tag me on Instagram and I'll share them on my stories as well. My free Scottish cookbook is now available over on my website, so if you enjoyed this recipe you might like to pop over there and download that, and you can also get a copy of this recipe in full over there as well, and you can print it out from there too. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to click that subscribe button, and if you click the little bell next to it, you'll be notified of my new videos coming out in the future as well. So take care, and I hope to see you all again soon. Lots of love. Bye bye.